This is over here. By the way, this is called the pull. The soul is pulling on me, okay? This is, oh my Lord, oh my Lord, oh my Lord. It's only in this little window. I know you maybe are not together. I don't know if you're in the same group. No? I'm just asking. I'm just asking. All right, please listen what I describe. Sometimes people have a situation, I'm not a doctor, but sometimes people have a situation when they need either a tube or a drain or something that hooks into the side of the throat. You ever see this? Where they have some kind of a, I don't know what the word would be, like a, not a straw, but like not a what? That's it. They need, thank you. Are you a medical person?
Yes.
Oh, okay, thank you so much. But there's something about the stent or something placed in the side of the throat. But this part's odd. Would you know offhand if someone had that and it either affected their hearing or something went sideways where they had a bad infection or something, it's up in here now, not down in here. It's up in here. Do you understand that? Why do you understand that?
My mother had.
That's enough.
Okay.
May I have your name, please?
Donna.
All right. I don't mean to be rude, Miss Donna. Okay, this is just my personality. When you start telling me stuff, I will shut you off. You understand me? You do something with someone like myself. If they allow you to continue to talk, please say, you don't. So hear me out with respect. Now, how are you ladies connected?
I'm her daughter.
You seem thrilled, okay? I'm just throwing it out there. You'll be walking home. So, and it's cold too. You better be nice. So with respect to you, so if your mother had a stent, right, which is the term you use, not the term I use, but it was up in her neck wall or under her ear, would you know offhand, and you might or might not, it feels like it affected her ear, there was a hearing issue, there was something in addition to it. But it's also making me feel that there was either a drip or a drain or something that went back into her chest wall, like it reversed on her. Does that make sense? Or something close to that. It became a source of a problem. Something was not correct. Yes? Stay with me. I have a lot of friends, guys in my age bracket, have whacked out heart systems. A lot of my friends have stents. They're doing fine. They're fine. But with respect to your mother's soul, something went sideways. And it wasn't doing what it was supposed to be doing. Yes or no? Yes. Okay. How do you know that? Were you there to see it? Or did you hear about it? I'm just asking. I'm a pest.
I was there.
Okay, good. So this person that's rising with your beautiful daughter, which is your Nana, is telling me that this drove to her passing. It wasn't just a temporary medical condition, and she wound up crossing. Are you the same one that left the room right before she died?
No.
Who walked out right before she died?
I don't remember anybody walking out.
Okay, I'm not trying to talk into anything. There's a gathering around someone that's dying. A nice family will say goodbye. People get emotional. People may run to the bathroom. People may make a phone call. They go down to the nurse's station, and they're concerned about the way she's not looking good or something. I get that. But it comes across to me that somebody said, I can't watch. They turned away. They couldn't bear it. How do you know that?
I was there. Yeah.
Who turned away?
I believe it was my sister.
Okay, with respect, no judgment here. But if you're telling me your own biological sister turned away from the woman where there was a gathering around the bed and she had a stint that went backwards and it created a problem in her chest wall, yes or no?
Yes.
Pretty close, correct? Okay, I was there. They told me to come here. We've never had the pleasure of meeting. So the voice that's speaking, quote unquote, and they're not speaking, they're expressing, is tell my daughter this. But there's one last little bit that I got to jump, okay?
Yeah.
This is odd. This is odd. Sometimes people have tummy surgeries, right? Various reasons. You can have it for babies, you can have it for gastric issues, you can have a hernia, all kinds of crazy stuff can go on, yes or no? Do you know of someone that had a bulge coming off of the side of their stomach? Or had like an inguinal rupture, or someone had a rupture in the stomach wall? It's right. Are you sure about this? So someone didn't deliver a child and had complications afterwards? Okay, I know you're a little nervous, but just try it one more time. If you say no, I'll walk. I'm going to leave. I have to leave anyway, but I don't want to leave you hanging. Are you sure someone didn't have a imbalance in the stomach? Not talking internally, Like there was either something in the belly system. She keeps telling me about a bulge in the side of somebody. No one didn't have a pouch. No one didn't have a...
Oh, yes.
Oh, with respect, was there a colon pouch?
Yeah.
Oh, there you go. You said no initially, right? Because I was describing inside. I understand that, but I have to interpret it, right? But I know someone says, I had to do this to go to the bathroom, with respect. I had to go out this way. Is that your mom too?
No.
Who is that?
My dad's best friend.
Crossed over? Mm-hmm. Okay. Then some people will ask me, is my mom all alone? Right? And a soul is rising saying, I'm here. We're coming in like that, okay? So I'm going to let that sit with you. I have to move along a little bit. You okay? Yeah. All right? All right, thank you. You're welcome. Let me get a little bit of water. I'm over there. Again, this is called the pull. They're calling me to somebody. People often ask me, how do I know where to go? It would take me the rest of the afternoon to explain it. You don't want that. You want to work, right? Okay. How are you guys connected?
Mother, daughter, stepdaughter.
Mother, daughter, stepdaughter. So your dad married this young lady? Is that what happened? Good, good, good. Okay, here we go. Sometimes people, when they die, right, you're there. You're there. This is a gathering. But other times people are found deceased, right? You walk into a room and you expect them to be there and you're calling them for lunch. You're calling them for breakfast. They're not answering. You got to go to work. Where the hell are you? You're running late. I told you to set the alarm clock. Something. But through here, with respect, they're making me feel someone went into a bedroom. Yes or no? A bedroom, not the garage. And they found someone deceased. Okay, it has to be in-house. Okay, I heard you say living room. It has a bedroom feeling to me. It doesn't feel like the garage or out on the front lawn or shoveling snow. And would you know, what's your name, sweetheart?
Caitlin.
Oh, nice to meet you, Caitlin. Would you know what, and don't say yes if you don't know this for sure. I'm a pain in the hiney. But would you know if they left the bedroom into the living room? I mean, you sleep there, you get up, you watch TV, you're putting a football game on or something. Do you know if someone lay down on that couch or sat in that chair and they never woke up again? With respect, I was there. They walked me around and said, speak here. I haven't had the privilege of knowing you guys. Where the hell did that come from? Now, this next part's bugging me. I don't want to hurt you. Why is there an apology connected to this? Do you know if someone was not taking the appropriate medications? If someone was not doing what they were supposed to be doing? Now, let me give you a little share, okay? My dad, who was my best friend, my mom, who was my other best friend, they were married for 67 years, right? I found my dad dead. My dad had Alzheimer's. He died in his easy chair. He just never woke up. He was very quiet, left very gently. But he was kind of like an exercise nut. Even in his late years, he was still walking around doing stuff. His mind just, right? This person's making me feel either they were meds they were supposed to take, things they were supposed to do. I don't feel this is like a genetic heart attack that came out of nowhere, some predisposed condition, but it made their heart explode in some way, yes? This is not they fell down a flight of stairs and hit their head and they said, I have a headache and I had a bleed in the brain. They never knew about it, right? Mm-hmm. This is a person that's laying on that couch, with respect, sweetheart, and you go down the stairs, you're calling them, and you look, and you go, come on, and all of a sudden, like my dad, it was cool. Does that make sense? I don't know you. Why would I know this? Because they're right here. May I ask who they are to you?
My uncle.
I'm sorry, that's your mom's brother? Your dad's brother. Just one little bit more here, then I got to move, okay? I'm trying to get to a lot of people. Normally, I'd stay with you for 20 minutes, but people yell at me. Well, they don't want, what they want is they want to be read. They don't want to see the work. And that's okay. For this kind of experience, it's fine. I have no issue with that. You understand me? this is a little rough, but I got to ask. Did someone have their arm amputated? Who almost lost their arm? Or had a withering of the arm? I worked with special ed for a long time in my career. Did someone have CP? Did someone have some kind of a special needs arm issue or some kind of a deteriorating limb? Come on. I'm not talking about a little scratch. Who was that?
My aunt.
What happened to her?
Yeah, she had diabetes.
Did her arms wither?
I'm not sure about the arms.
Say it again?
I'm not sure about the arms.
But did she have an amputation of the, okay, it has to be amputation, but there's something about the hands too. But if you're telling me, not all diabetics get amputated in there, but if you're telling me she had an amputation of the arm, or of the leg, excuse me, I need to know.
Toes and fingers.
Fingers. And fingers, that's it. I think the last time I looked, fingers are connected to the arm, right?
Yes.
Yeah, just trying to make a pain in the ass here. So if you're telling me you have this an aunt, whatever that is, missing fingers, missing legs, or missing feet, or something similar, and your uncle, is that her husband? Was that brother and sister? That's it. And the brother and sister, and she's also crossed? Okay, so you have a brother and sister who have crossed. One's got part of his fingers missing, part of the limbs missing, and the other person is on the couch with a heart attack because he wouldn't take care of himself. Why would I know that? Because this is the way they communicate. And they're not communicating from outer space. They're right there. But why don't you sense it? And I'm trying to show you the door. Okay, let me get some more water. Hi. What happened to you?
Got feeling? Sorry.
No. Is that a neck warmer? Or is it? Oh, I thought you broke in. I thought you fell down a flight of stairs. Did you check in with everybody?
Who am I supposed to check in with?
The women that left. Did you? I don't. The Tom. The Tom. So I watch everything, right? I come out of a cop world. I watch everything. All right. I'm right in this row. Now I'm over here. Don't mind me. People don't understand what happens to me when I do this. This is called a gift of grace. It's a gift of grace. It happened to me, I was sharing this with these women before, it happened to me in less than one breath. I'm going to be 73. I'm not a kid. And when I was 46 years old, I went to sleep one night. I was working at that time for the Helen Keller Center. I was working with blind children, visually impaired children. And I woke up in the morning. Tommy, we got to get one more. Two more. I got up in the morning and everything changed. Everything changed. Are you waiting for someone?
Yeah, they hit traffic and stuff.
Okay, all right, I'll have to wait for them to get settled then.
Yeah, they have seats.
Oh, I have to continue, it's too strong.
Go ahead.
All right, so please listen, okay? I have to interpret now. Who's with who here? Are you family? I'm not asking if you're friends.
These are my daughters behind me,
Okay,
and this is my daughter's mother-in-law and her friend.
I got it. Nothing wrong with friends, but usually the friends really have a whole different dynamic because they have a whole different family structure, right? I mean, you may have coincidental friendships now, but when you were 4 years old, unless you knew each other next door to each other, you're not going to know certain stuff, right or wrong. Please listen. Sometimes people have issues in their stomach area, yes? People can have stomach issues. Sometimes people can have issues in their intestinal wall and so on. Would you guys know the person that had what's the word, like an infection or a swelling on the underbelly of the stomach? Yes or no? Yes. Yeah. Now hear me out, okay? You take in food, it drops out of your esophagus, whoop, and the first organ that it bumps into is your stomach. It travels through the intestines, a lot of way to go, and then out the bottom, and we're all done, right? Trying to be gentle here. The stomach is the first big organ. Now, when certain mediums say it happened down here, that covers an awful lot of territory, right? Reproductive systems, the liver, the pancreas, your spleen, your colon. I mean, there's a lot of stuff. That kind of covers a lot of territory, right? So for me, I try to read a lot more close than that because that's what the souls will show. So if you're telling me someone had at the lower part of their stomach, either a cancer or some kind of an acute, what's the word? I'm not a doctor. Some kind of an acute intestinal issue, some kind of an acute inflammation. Yes or no? Yes. All right, Tom, I think we have one more gentleman here. Oh, this guy's over here. You're over here, sir. Over here. You understand that? Because that's who's beginning to rise. There's someone that's telling me, and here's the part that's bothering me. They're making me feel they tried to avoid this for a while. Now, listen, when people get a normal stomach ache or they had a little bit of bad food, you may have a bad belly. It doesn't mean you're flying to the emergency room because you're throwing up in the bathroom. Yeah, I shouldn't have ate that third burger, or something like that. But if someone has got this and they're kind of like, no, I'll be fine. I'll take Alka-Seltzer. I'll do this. I'll do that. I'll swallow vanilla ice cream. I'll make it go away. And they're slowly dying of stomach cancer. Yes or no?
Yes.
Yeah. Why would I say that to you guys?
Her mom.
No, I know who you are. Why would I walk?
Her mom. Our grandma.
With respect, why would I walk over to you 4 people and share that exact story? Because the soul just rose and they said, Rob, speak to them about this. They'll know it's me because this is what killed me. The reason why the souls mention how they died, it is the last thing your body will remember. And usually, with respect to your family, it's the first thing people ask at the funeral. What happened to your beautiful mother? What happened to your grandmother? Yes? And you say, my Nana had a stomach issue. She had cancer of the stomach. It didn't go bad. She didn't want to take care of it. It got out of control, and she wound up dying. Yes or no? Right? This is not someone found on a couch or someone who had their fingers taken off, amputating their fingers off due to diabetes. You see the difference? Now, in the family, I know I don't live out here, but I meet many great people in Suffolk County, and McGough is nearby, these other airports around here, yes? So people have licenses to fly, people do all kinds of stuff with aircraft, right or wrong? Does someone have a pilot's license?
You're close. The airport makes sense.
Okay. Well, I don't want to be close. This is not a game I play. With no, Did somebody work for the airport? Who?
My husband.
Was still with us, I hope?
Yes.
Okay, I'm just asking, sweetheart. And this is your mom, so we're talking about your Nana.
No, my mom used to work for SAS Airlines.
Oh, that's all I want. Okay, all right, stay with me. I'm not asking if someone worked as a school teacher or a nurse or worked for Walmart or as an attorney. I understand this. There's a diversity in what people do for livings. I get it. But they're showing me aircraft. So if you're telling me that, I'm not asking if you took a flight to Florida one time to see Disney.
She worked for the airlines.
I understand. So if you're telling me this woman who I just described, I mean, with respect, you may have pictures at home, you may have images, you may have a flight wings, you may have some other crap, you may have something that indicates either at the funeral when you put out stuff or at home privately, yes, that this soul says, tell them about the airport work that I did. And I'm the one with the issue in the stomach, and I'm the one that's passed on because I wouldn't listen to common sense. Yes or no?
100% right.
Okay, so therefore, which is what I commented, this young woman asked me before over here, forgive her. Because if you hold on to that bitterness, one day it's going to be your turn. We've all made mistakes, including me, a million of them, right? And therefore, it's important to say, Grandma Manny, I forgive you. I wish you had acted differently, but I know you're at peace. You're coming to us now. We're right here. And as I said in the intro, I don't ask questions. I don't do interviews. Thank you for listening. I'm trying to get around as much as I can. I'm way in the back. Here he comes, watch out. Do you understand? I don't know anyone in this room, except my friend Tom, of course, I work with. Do you understand? I'm asking, you don't have to raise your hand and answer me. How is this happening? And if you have time at the end, I will show you what psychic is. Not what people claim it is. It's very different. Oh man, I got to come around. I hope this is wrong. No, I hope it's wrong. No. Well, it is a little bit of an uh-oh. And this could be for this young lady or right here. Okay? All right. I come out of a big law enforcement background. I mean, my whole family's cops. My father was a cop. My son was in the 75th. My uncle was the police commissioner of the New York City Police Department under Mayor Koch. I worked for the feds for 10 years. I also worked for Nassau County Police and the Sheriff's Department. So I don't fool around, right? You don't have to answer this. I'm just asking. Did someone physically try to strangle one of you or someone in your family? Come on, spit it out. Did someone throw your hands around your neck and threaten you up against the wall? Who threatened to hurt somebody so badly? Yes, your brother what? Did he hurt somebody? Yes, ma'am. I was over there and they told me to come to the last row. You don't have, this is a public place. You don't have to answer me, okay? I'm cutting you loose on that. You're not obligated. What's your name?
Linda,
It's nice to meet you, Miss Linda. The young lady to your right is whom?
my wife, Jude.
Nice to meet you, ma'am. My pleasure. My youngest brother lives next door with his partner. He's a doctor. He's a craniological nurse. Go figure, these two guys. And no, they've been together probably 15 years. I think they just celebrated 12 years of marriage. Awesome. Nice to meet you, ladies. God bless you both. But if you've got a brother, you said the name Rich, didn't you? Didn't you say a name? Oh, you said your brother. Forgive me. Okay, I'm sorry. With respect, is he still with us? Okay. People ask me, how come I don't know? Because I don't know. And I'll tell you a story about that in a minute. My blood pressure's starting to come up. Your brother, either he was married, or he took on somebody else, or he got angry with somebody. But they're telling me that someone connected to your, I don't mean to point, sweetheart. Someone connected to your family really is a nasty guy, kind of has a lot of intensity in him, and he went after somebody with real bad intentions. Yes or no? With respect, this is public, so I'm not asking to how do you know that? Was he locked up for it? Did he get arrested for it? Did he go to jail for it? Yeah. Did he go upstate? He only stayed local in Riverhead County, right? For assault. I'm not talking shoplifting, right? But the key is, it's making me feel he tried to kill someone. That was his intentions. Now, I'm not trying to knock your brother. People can sometimes have something happen and you lose your mind. Fueled by drugs and alcohol sometimes fueled by rage, someone's cheating on you, someone's breaking into your house. There's a lot of justifiable reasons why you may want to protect your family. So, someone walks in and comes in through the window, you may throw them on the floor. This is not this. This almost feels like revenge or a sense of rage. Yes or no? You still speak with him? I didn't think so. I'm going to say something else here. This is very difficult for me to share, but I have to share it. Was there a person in the family that was placed in a nursing home against their will? Come on.
I don't think against their will, but
Okay, come back to me. No, what's your name again?
Linda,
All right, Linda, listen. Who are you again?
Jude.
Okay. Hey, Jude. You got to lighten the mood here a little bit, right? I do my best over here, right? Now just listen to me, please, carefully. There are people as they get older, right? I'm not a kid. I mean, my dad died at home in almost 94. My mother passed in Queens Hospital. She took 3 days to cross. My brother took her there. My brother works there with his partner. They both work in the same hospital. And when my mother got really ill, my brother said, "Ma, you got to go." She goes, "Oh, take me." I know. And a couple of days later, she just passed, right? But there are people that the family is kind of like in a quasi place, right? They're wandering, they're sick, they need more assistance, they need more medications, they need more supervision. I get it. And sometimes the family may approach that person and say, "Listen, we want to put you in Happy House over here or something, or this place or that place. And they go, I don't want to go there. I want to stay home. But under coercion, under softening, promising a trip to Disney World or something, you kind of get their heinies to go into the place, and they never come out. And they died there. And when they died there, you were missing, huh? Yes or no? No, this is not an attack. I hope you understand. It's a cop fact. When they passed, you simply weren't present. I'm not saying you had evil in your heart not to be there. I'm not implying that I don't care what happens to them. But you helped assist them to that place. They're crossing over in this place. And then what happens is, with respect to you, they wind up crossing over in your absence. Yes? May I ask who that is? With all respect to your beautiful mother's soul. And she's the one that knows of her son who has this issue. She's the one that's telling me this very specific story about your biological brother who could have killed somebody and still probably has that edge of flame in him, right? So much so that you and your beautiful partner cannot deal with this guy. You want to stay safe from a violent personality such as that, yes or no? Okay? So just know that your mother's got your back. She's standing right here. And I'm not saying this because you're weepy. I don't do that bullshit. I curse a little bit. Well, you want me to just like this? But she knows that you had to do what you had to do. You knew you were doing it for her best interest. Does her heart hurt for her child, her boy? Of course. Of course. Okay? I've never met you before. Thank you for listening. If you're here for bird feathers and butterflies, no disrespect. And I'm going to share this once, because people pay attention. I'm going to share this once. And I'm not here to hurt you. How are you, sir? Good. I should have got a coffee myself. But I want you to, don't throw anything. Okay? I was talking to some of the young women over here before about the red cardinal. You know the red cardinal? People like that red cardinal, don't they? Okay, don't get upset. The red cardinal is very comforting to a lot of people. I have no argument with that. None. I think it's a beautiful bird. I have them on my property. I'm sure you have them on your properties. It makes people feel better. And they are told that when the red cardinal shows up, the presence of their loved one is nearby. That's the storyline, yes or no? And many people attach to it. And a lot of psychics promote it. With respect, not myself. I ask my audiences, what do people in Alaska do? Oh, you can giggle, no problem. What do people do in Louisiana down in the Bayou country who were killed in Katrina? There's no red birds down there. Well, what do they do? And the answer is they make up something else. In Psych 101, this is called grief conversion. I don't know what to do, so I'll invent something to make me feel better. And other psychics have told me to believe in it, and I choose to believe in it. Because it makes me feel better, because I don't know what else to do. Do you understand that? And no disrespect to you, ladies and gentlemen here. If you choose that path, so be it. Just understand what you're doing. Your soul is right like this, and instead of finding it out, it's easy to pick a bird and say, make me feel better. Do you understand that? I want no part of that stuff. Other people like it. You may enjoy it with other mediums. Go for it. You will never hear those words come out of my mouth. Not once. And at the end, I'll show you what psychic is. What you're seeing right now is the result of it. This is not psychic. This is the result of psychic. That's different. I'm over here. Let me get some water. She's going to need water. I'm teasing. Lighten up. I'm lighting up. Jesus. You guys are very like this. Whether you realize it or not, it's a celebration of love. I hope you understand it, or I would not be standing here. These are love letters. I hope you understand. Not some kind of magic nonsense tricks. As you can tell, I don't know anybody. There's no tricks going on. Would you agree? Not because of me. I'm just a door. It's a gift of grace that moves through me because my boss ask me to help people who have grief. Period. Period. End of conversation. Okay? This is, how are you two guys hooked up? I'm just asking politely. May I have your name, young lady, on the end?
Kelly.
Nice to meet you, Miss Kelly.
Helen.
Helen, nice to meet you, Miss Helen. Please listen. No, just don't mind my faces. No, don't mind this. I have to, it's hard to explain. All right, I'm trying to, oh my God. All right, please listen. I have 2 adult daughters, an adult wife, all are still around. And in a family of women, I got boys too, of course, breast tissue is very sensitive. Would you all agree? And for most women, I would suggest every woman in this room, you better be getting mammographies, you better be taking care of your health, right? You don't want to come have a nightmare later, like I'm seeing here. Would you women know somebody that had a breast and or breasts removed? Who had the breast cancer?
Family members of my mom
Okay, well, I
are
meant,
still here.
okay, I didn't say they were crossed. Listen to me, again, Helen, listen to me carefully. Something's not up. You're not telling me something. I'm not saying you're lying. I have to reinterpret what I'm seeing. They're making me feel someone had breast cancer or is in the moments of breast cancer treatment, some protocols of it. They're in some variations of radiation, whatever you folks get to help you get past a very serious cancer. I mean, it's brutally, and I understand on Long Island it's 1 in 9, 1 in 8. I get the obvious. If you mention breast cancer to a whole group of women, I assure you people know people. I'm not talking about, this is called, you know what a cold session is in this work? You know what a cold session is? A cold session is this. I'm not going to, oh my God. A cold session means somebody over here has this. That's called a sweep. And I assure you, someone's going to, oh, that's me, that's mine. Oh, boy. Well, do what you want with it. Just do what you want with it. But when they bring me to specific people, as you've been watching, it's because they want to talk about a particular topic. Now, getting back, because I want to move along. They're making me feel someone had this, yes? But they're making me feel either when they had their breasts examined, whether it be manually, through a mammography, through a CAT scan, they found something else under the surface. A secondary cancer growing behind the breast wall, either in the rib lining or in the mediastinum of the chest. Yes or no?
Yes.
She doesn't know what you're talking about. How do you know that? That's a very specific reference.
Yes, my aunt. I speak with her regularly.
Okay, with respect to you, I'm not trying to make anybody nervous. Is that your mom's sister?
Yes.
Okay, let's go there. So you tell me you have a biological sister connected to your mother that you know as a fact has breast cancer. And you also know as a fact they rediscovered a secondary cancer below and behind that breast. Not in her hiney or downtown or something, behind here. That's where the problem is going to be. They may be able to get this under control. This is going to cause them grief. Now this part's also very sensitive. Did somebody accidentally knock out somebody's eye? Who went blind in an eye?
My husband has eye issues.
Is he blind in an eye?
He has blind spots.
That's it. Now you can have that due to a genetic abnormality. You can get hit with New York City grade firefighters, cops on the job, military guys. They get a kickback with something, and you can be blinded. Remember, I worked at the Helen Keller Center for blind people, right? I've had children that had used firecrackers and they blew out their own eye, right? It's a nightmare, right? And there's no coming back. They have a prosthesis put in. It looks like a dead eye, it looks like almost, right? And they're only this big. It's heartbreaking, but I love those children. That's why I try to help them. But with respect, if you're telling me your husband has vision issues, I'm not trying to get you upset. They're making a big ruckus over this. So I don't know who he's seeing ophthalmologically. That's a fancy word for eye doctor. Or if he's seeing a cancer specialist to the eyes, something. Would you know if one eye is much more challenged than the other?
Yes.
So why would I mention that to you? Because the woman that is around, now, her sister has crossed?
No. My sister's still here.
That's the sister still here. Okay, because someone is showing me the situation with the aunt, and she shows me the situation about your husband. And your husband's mother is still around?
Yes.
Right? And the father too? No. That's what I'm looking for. I'm trying to get information, but I know there's a soul pushing big time about this. Now, would you know offhand if your husband really didn't talk with his dad that much?
No, he did.
Where's the one that's estranged then?
My husband's brother is estranged.
That's it. Now, the word strange means you're a stranger to me, right? You are a stranger to us now. Therefore, we use the word, compress it into estranged, right? Not living in Texas. They didn't move to Montana, because they saw Yellowstone and they have to live in a mountaintop or something. They're here, but you don't speak to them, which means you, with respect, the man you call husband, his own biological brother, is not around.
Right.
That's it. Never had the pleasure of meeting you. Where'd all that come from? I'm asking you to ask yourselves. Otherwise, you're only watching me. You understand that? Okay? So, and that brother's around too. He's estranged. So everybody I've described to you is estranged, yes? And here's the last little segment, okay? And this is between the two. Was someone caught in a fire? Did someone die of inhalation or something? And no one didn't take something that ended their life. I disagree. No alcoholism, nothing like that. There's no ingestion issues. A little bit.
My husband has lung cancer.
That's it. That's all I need. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off so abruptly. You know you're facing some challenges, right? What is his name?
Richard.
Would you mind if I prayed for him later? May I have your permission to do that? Thank you. I don't play. If you're here to be played with, you got the wrong guy. I'm in here. I'm right here. Are you all right over there? Yeah. Don't be sad. Yeah, don't be sad. Don't be sad. Sometimes stuff that comes through is, life can be sad, right? Life has painful moments, right? There's a really beautiful quote by Melvin Rumi. You probably don't know who that is. He was one of my heroes. Died in the 12th century. Never met the guy. But he wrote, in order to have your heart fully open to God's grace, it has to be broken many times. It's the only doorway to heaven, right? I have to be careful. I'm in a public place. I have to be a little Kool-Aid. Please, who the hell's who here? Are you guys all separate from each other? Are you on parole? What are you doing here? I'm watching you over there with the pink mask. So you two women are together, and these three women are together. All right. It could be here. It could be there. I'm not sure yet. Pay attention. She's so sweet, though. Yeah, you both are lovely. You're very, very. You want to have a good time, don't you? Otherwise, it gets too serious. Sometimes people have very bad headaches. No, like I'm giving you one right now, right? People can get bad headaches, right? And then sometimes headaches don't lift. They seem to be like migraine-ish or always constant. They're showing me someone who had a small bleed in the head, like a drip. Like the beginning of a stroke forming, or they had some kind of a tumor, like a small baby tumor in the skull. Do you guys not understand this? It's right here. It's got to be right. I may be off by a row. I'm sorry. Forgive me, girls. I'm off. I could be off by 2 feet. It's not over here. No, I'm sorry. I apologize. I don't want to set you up and walk away on you, but I have to make sure the soul is going. I'm only off by a seat. Excuse me. Let me do this again. It could be. I don't want you to make it fit. Please don't do that. All right. Many people. Oh, I found somebody. If I said to you guys, you know someone that had a heart attack. Yeah, you're not kidding. Oh, amazing psychic. I mean, stop. People are so desperate. You know, when you're starving. I lived in Japan. I'm not leaving you. I lived in Japan 4 times. I studied with one Zen master for 21 years. In my Buddhist tradition, I'm a Buddhist as well as a Roman Catholic. In my Buddhist tradition, they said I got hit with kensho. I was struck with lightning. In my Catholic tradition, the priests and the deacons got me aside one day, and they said, Robert, you've received the gift of grace. I hope you take care of it. And of course, I saw them this morning at Mass. I go to church 7 days a week, not to Mass, just to visit. Not because I'm religious, because this young man gave me a gift 27 years ago that guides my whole life. You understand? And I'm just working for him. And I'm not trying to be I'm not a religious man. But I'm trying to have you understand. It's not something I just said, I think I'm going to do psychic stuff now. It explodes in you. Okay? If we have time later, I'll talk a little more. But to these beautiful women here. How are you two guys hooked up? Cousins. And who the hell are you? I'm her mother. Okay. Nice to meet you, Mom. Nice to meet you. I'm teasing. Right? Is this okay? May I continue? I don't want to upset your mother or yourself or anybody. I was describing, which I thought was here, but the flow was just a little bit over, that someone had either bleeds in the head. Yes? Now, if you get hit with a baseball bat in a game, the bat flies out of your hand and cracks someone in the head, or you fall down a flight of stairs and you split your skull open on a cement stoop. I'm not referring to this. This is like a sprinkling effect. Like little, doot, 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 little bleeds, which swelling up would create like a stroke effect, and or the other interpretation would be little mini cancer spots, little bitty tumor spots in the head. But it feels to me more like vascular, like it's a bleed issue. Yes or no?
Yes.
Yes. Yes? No, Mom, do you understand what she's talking about? If they're small and they're insignificant, you may not even realize them, right? But then the headaches can begin, the pressure begins, balance starts to go, things begin to change. And sometimes people lay down and you just can't wake them up again. Do you understand that? Mm-hmm. Yes or no?
Yes.
You sure about this? Mm-hmm. Did you try to wake them up?
No.
Then how do you know that happened?
Because it was my grandmother and she was under anesthesia and she had an intracranial hemorrhage.
And she had a what?
A head bleed.
Okay, but you were there. Oh, that's what I just asked you. You said, how were you? Were you there? And you said,
Oh, well.
That's okay. No, don't be nervous. Please don't be nervous. I hope I'm not making you nervous. But is that your mom's mom? Your dad's mom? Okay, you get two grandmothers, or one or the other. So if you're telling me your dad's mom, who you were close to, I take it, at some point? Yes? Perhaps you lived with her. Perhaps you were very close to her. Maybe she lived with you. Maybe you saw her every Saturday, Sunday, whatever it was. How do you know again? And your name again?
Michelle.
Michelle, hi. And who are you?
Lori.
Hi, Lori. You almost forgot, huh? If you're telling me that your beautiful grandmother had a series of bleeds in the brain, yes? And that led to her final days, yes or no? Yes, not just something they fixed and they repaired and she got hit by a train. You know, one of these low crosswalks, you go, you get hit, that's what killed her. That's not this, that's not her. But she's telling me she was dying. And you know, if that's occurring or she's in the middle of a procedure or that is occurring, yes? Are you a nurse? Do you work in medicine? Okay, well, you could have just been the guest that was visiting and they said, could you please step outside? We have to handle this now, right or wrong. But either you were specialing her, you were standing at her side, she went to the hospital you work at, there is something very familiar with you and her. So not only are you an RN, yes, or an MA or a PA or LPM, whatever your role may be in medicine, so you're not an attorney or you don't own your own pottery company, right? You work in that field, and your grandmother was being guided by your best efforts to help her. No? I would take it in your personality. It certainly seems that way, because she's making me feel, despite my granddaughter's best efforts, it went sideways, and she wound up crossing. Does that make any sense? Okay, so this is your dad's mom. Why does she make me feel she has her son with her? Does she have another child that crossed? Who lost a child very young? Oh, you did. I'm sorry. Okay, with respect.
Her nephew.
My nephew.
I'm sorry. Okay, well, you represent your clan. Is that your brother's wife's child, your sister's? Yeah. Young, though. Has to be young.
Yes.
Has to be young. Because she's rocking a young infant or toddler in her arms. All right. The audience was not here. I would stay with you for an hour, but I can't do that. Not that I don't want to do it, but this is kind of what I'm bound to a little bit, you know. I'm going to say something to you. Do you know the parents of that baby?
My brother.
I'm just asking politely. You understand? There are children that are found deceased, right? Swimming pools, car crashes, horrible things. And then there are children that get sick. Yes or no?
Yes.
That's this. Do you know if they went into a NICU or PICU unit or pediatric? Yes, ma'am. And they went in and never came home.
Yes.
And would you know offhand if they told them there was a chance the child was coming out and it changed? You can say no if you're not sure. It feels that way, like they were given a ray of hope.
Yes.
What you want, I mean, listen to me. I just met the other day a nurse. I was doing an appearance, and she worked in a NICU unit, right, near the intensive care. And of course, many of the children, thank God, get a chance to go home. But this poor woman and her and the team have to tell parents almost every day that their child is not coming home. Baby's, 3 months old, their first child, and they're preparing a funeral. I'd rather jump out that window. Psychic be damned, I'd go out that window, right or wrong.
Yes.
Come on, we're still humans here, right? But I'm just telling you, this beautiful grandmother is connected to this reading, and she's rocking this baby who went into a pediatric intensive care unit or a NICU unit. So I'm not saying you should run home and call some psychic guy with earrings is telling me this crap. And I'll talk about the earrings in a minute. I'll tell you about my earrings in a minute. I just want you to know, okay? You're not taking my earrings, are you? All right, so let me get the earrings out of the way. This is 18. This is 17. 35 years clean and sober. Listen, I lived in hell. You ever live in hotel hell? You'll know. By God's grace, in AA, it saved my life. Only 5 out of 100 get rescued from that. Most of them fall. People think because I got sober that this gift was given to me. This came 15 years later. Yeah, long time later. Okay, let me get some more water. I'm going to do more. I'm up in the front here. I'm trying to get around. Am I getting around good? I'm trying my best to get around. It's either here or there. It's only like, not to lean. It's either right in here or here. This is very, I'm going to see, hope this doesn't collapse. Okay. I hope this is wrong. I want to be wrong on this reading. Would one of you women, either from these two young ladies or right here, do you know if someone was pushed out a window or off a roof? Before you say no, did someone fall to their death? No 9/11, nothing like that. I'm going to do it again. This is right. Did someone accidentally slip out a window? Someone didn't go down a dumbwaiter shaft? Someone didn't fall down a flight of stairs and was found dead at the bottom of a stairway? I would be shocked if this is wrong. Where does the cop come in? Who's got a cop in the family? A lot of people have law enforcement. No one?
Well, I have 2 cousins that are detectives. I don't know if that means anything.
No. Oh, this is right. I'm sorry. I got to do it again. When you have a funeral, sometimes people put a shield, or they have displays of law enforcement or fire department stuff. Are you sure that didn't happen with anybody here?
My husband was a volunteer fireman.
Okay, I want to go there. I'm going to sit. Can I sit? Yeah? Okay. All right, I want to come back. And how are you women connected? Okay, nice to meet you, sweetheart. So, if you work as a volunteer or you work for the FDNY, when there's trouble, these guys go running into houses. I mean, give me a break. Whether you're out here in Suffolk County or in the city with the big stuff, heart is the same heart, right? You put yourself in harm's way for somebody else, right? That's why they're heroes. Well, that's my opinion. I hope everybody sees it the same way as I do. I don't know, but I certainly hope so, right? If your husband has crossed over with respect to you, he had a wake, did he have a funeral? Did you have a service for him? He wasn't. Some people just get cremation, goodbye, you're done. And I'm not knocking that. I'm not saying that as a judgment. Some people just prefer to have a little bit more time. They want to have a compassionate finish and so on. Yes? When your husband was laid out, right? You had him laid out?
Yes.
Were there references to his work, or did volunteer firefighters show up? Did your husband have a shield or an ID badge?
He was buried in the
Yes. That's what I was referring to. Come back to me. What's your name?
Lillian.
Hi, Miss Lillian. Who are you?
Stephanie.
Hi, you told me before, Steph. I'm sorry. That's okay, baby. You're doing good. Now, this is your stepdaughter. Is this your dad? Yeah, because he keeps coming to her. No disrespect to you, but he wants this beautiful young woman to know that he's right here, sweetheart. I'm serious. I don't play, baby. Now, if you're telling me that man, your dad, with respect, worked or volunteered for the local firehouse somewhere out here in Suffolk, right? He was in Nassau. Okay, whatever it may be. What house did he come out of? What town?
Port Washington. Couldn't think.
Port Washington. It's up by Glen Cove, that neck of the woods. That's way up over there. I mean, I worked up there many times, but it doesn't matter. What's important is right now your beautiful daughter, stepdaughter here. But he's telling me that at his funeral he had shield stuff or FDNY, not FDNY, but Port Washington Firehouse, the guys with the jackets, and they come in and perhaps they had a salute, maybe they had a regular motorcade, whatever they may have had. Why does your father keep telling me about someone that fell to their death?
I don't know if Judy died. Her dad
No.
died in the fire.
She died.
Did someone die in the fire?
Yes,
Oh, then how do you know they didn't fall?
because she went back in to get the dog.
Okay, I understood. Don't tell me anything else. That's what I was saying, because I asked about the fire before. That's why it came up again. There's something here that either I'm misunderstanding, which is possible. I can certainly misread a little one thing. I don't think I am, though. I don't think I am. But I could, of course. But there's also a reference to a fire. Yes or no? Now, if you're telling me that with respect to your sweetheart, that your father passed on, yes, your dad, he was a firefighter at Port Washington. I'm repeating, I understand. And you had the funeral and the shield and the badges and all of that. You said to me, tell me something, you kind of accidentally did. No, it's all right, it happened. But I had reference to fire. So if you're telling me someone went back in to get their animal, try to save the animal's life, and they got trapped in there, or things fell on them, or smoke overcame them, or they got lost in the smoke, and they couldn't find the front door again, go in and come right out again, all hell broke loose, and they, with respect, God have mercy, I hope the smoke took them before the flame.
I had Judy before I was born, so I don't know anything about her.
But you know the story. So I have this person here that died in the fire with the man who's your father coming in together. Are they brother and sister? That's them. Now, in the family, and there are different holidays, right? I mean, the United States has got, it seems like Japan is worse. Japan's like a holiday every other day. They got like 100 holidays, these guys. They're nuts. But in the States, we got a fair amount. I mean, we Halloween, Thanksgiving, Christmas, New Year's, Hanukkah, the whole bit, right? So in my opinion, when someone says that I can tell someone died around a holiday, give me a break. You're within 6 weeks of a holiday, no matter which direction you look. Yes or no?
Yes.
Right or wrong?
Yes.
I mean, come on. But this is applying here. Either someone died on a holiday itself, but you know what they're talking? Not talking. Where does Valentine's Day come in with you guys?
Got engaged right before Valentine's.
Say it to me. Did you and your husband get engaged? Was it, now right before, I didn't mean December. Was it a few days prior?
To Valentine's Day, yes.
On St. Okay, now I understand it's a romantic holiday. You're a beautiful young woman. I'm sure you married a great guy. Yes, I get all of that. But not everybody. I certainly didn't get, I got married on August 25th. Nowhere near Valentine's Day, right? My daughter got married September 7th, which is my parents' their anniversary date. My oldest daughter got married on that day. So we don't have any of this stuff, but here it's true. So if you're telling me that you and the man you're married to, he proposed to you and on his knee in the ring, hopefully he did. Yeah, that's kind of cool stuff, right? That's one habit you don't want to lose, right? And that was the day you chose to say yes, I accept, and then you went forward to get married, yes? And your dad's the guy I'm describing, yes? He's the one that's standing here, still gets married or gets engaged right before Valentine's Day. Now, the audience might say, well, a lot of people get engaged on Valentine's Day. That may be true. Not in my world, but it's definitely true in your world. Right or wrong?
Yeah, right before.
Yeah. Now, here's the part that's also interesting. Did someone have a birth defect of the feet? Oh, wait.
A birthday what?
Birth, not a birthday, a birth defect of the feet or the lower legs.
Birth defect.
Does someone have turned in feet? Did someone have webbed toes? Did someone have club feet birth? It's correct.
I had duck feet.
Who did? I'm just asking. Okay, stay with me. That means they went out.
Yeah.
Okay, then stay with me. The average person walks in normal strides. Now, if you have a bad knee or you have a bad hip, you may have a little, but it's driven by a particular injury. Yes?
Yeah, usually.
Well, yeah. But if you're telling me out of the womb, your dad developed over time, his hips pulled out, his legs bowed a little bit, and if he had kind of a waddle walk when he walked, right?
Yeah, Dad had duck feet when he went down the stairs.
I'm just asking. I'm just asking. I'm not trying to talk into anything. But he wants you to talk about his feet. Now, if you're telling me that's a little byproduct, I mean, if you said this to me, I said my father had regular feet. He was a cop for 20 years. I mean, he didn't waddle. He had to run after bad guys. He couldn't waddle. My father was a hell of an athlete. He was in really good shape. So that didn't occur. I'm not knocking a person with that, please. But if you're telling me it was a footnote in your family, oh, Daddy waddles when he walks, or there's a step that he does, or something makes people giggle. Daddy, why are you walking like a duck? Anything similar to that, I just need to know. Yes or no?
Yeah, duck feet.
I'm just asking. But what's more important is this man is a firefighter, and he's with the woman that went into a house to save her dog. With that part you told me, who burned and smoked and never came out. Who's Julie? Judy?
Judy, his sister.
That's his sister. And Robert is whom, like my name? Who's Ronnie? Rose?
Robert's.
Robert.
Robert? That's my brother-in-law. He's here.
Okay, okay. All messages are for the living.
Okay.
Robert's a kind of a common name. The odds of you knowing a Robert are probably pretty high. But if that's your brother-in-law, that's either your sister's husband, yeah. And he's still with us, as you were nervously saying to me, right or wrong? Right? Last little bit, then I got to get up and move again, okay? There's an insistence on someone that one of you or both of you saw when they were dying. You went to visit them or say hello to them, yes? And like within 2 minutes after leaving, they died. Same hour, an hour later at the most.
I didn't leave him.
You weren't, did you standing there and you saw it? You're not telling me something. This is a person the only other interpretation would be you went to see him never expecting them to die.
That's true.
Okay, stay with me. Okay, I got to stand up because I got to move again. Listen to me. What's your name again?
Lillian.
Listen to me. There are people that are terminally ill, and the hospice team says tomorrow morning, 9 o'clock, be here. We're going to put the patches on. You'll have a chance to say goodbye. They're suffering too much. We have to let them go. Yes? And that's an arranged period of discontinuance. It's set up. It's on a calendar. Tomorrow morning, this person or this man or this woman is going to move along, right? And they tell people, if you want to come see them, because tomorrow they're going, right? And then there's the other storyline, which is you go to visit just to say hello, and they die right in front of you when you're there. You understand?
Yeah.
You're more like the first story. Oh, no, I'm sorry. You got more like the second story. Excuse me. You went to visit them, yes, thinking it's a visit, or they're not doing well, but they're struggling. I got that part, obviously. But if you tell me they died right when you were there, right, and the medical team didn't come in and say they're dying right now, right? Why would I know that? Who was that to you?
That was my husband.
Okay. And then you got remarried?
No.
Well, that's the stepdaughter. Oh, this is your father. You married the guy with the child.
Yeah.
I misunderstood. Okay. So the man that this beautiful young lady married is your pop. How cool is he? And so he brings this beautiful young lady into your life.
Yeah.
Right? Remember, I said this before, and I'll say it again. I don't know you. The only way I would know this, because that man who loves you so much is right here. I'm moving, I'm going. You can't make this happen. It rises in me like a wind. You're watching it, right? What you're seeing right now is the result. The result. No magic powers, no magic powers, no magic powers. I'm just Rob. The key is when people tell you, with all respect, that, okay, Robert's here, now they will come. You ever hear this crap? You ever hear it? Oh, yes, oh my God, so-and-so is here, now they're going to walk through the walls, they're going to come up through the floor. And wait, and then at the end of the time, they say, well, we got to finish now. I have to let them go back. They have to go through the veil again. They have to return home. You ever hear it?
Yes.
How dare they? How dare they? And I've met them, not to attack them. I say, you're telling me a mother buried a 3-year-old baby who drowned in her pool, and you're telling that mother that the child now has to go back to Never Never Land, and the only way that mother can have contact with her child that has died is through you? A disgrace. A disgrace. Folks, they never leave you. I can't get to everybody, but they're trying to show you all what you hope is true, that love never separates. And also it never ends. You cannot be gone with, I'm right in here, without it. Does that make sense? Oh, boy. I gotta do this slow. There's only 4 ways that you can have your life interrupted. There's only 4 ways. Illness can take you, which is endless. Yes or no? Yes. You can have your life interrupted by some kind of an injury. Hit by a car, flip a motorcycle, break your neck swimming, something like that. Yeah? 3, interruption of life, which most people call suicide. I never use that word. Ever, never, 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 never. If you ask me why, will tell you. If not, I'll just keep moving. And then, of course, there is murder. Right? I meet parents who have had their children murdered. Murdered. Right? 8-year-olds. I just read one last week. Right? Okay. I'm not trying to be didactic. I'm just trying to explain to you what I receive is no game. I see grief at its worst, right? And my boss asked me to heal, and that's what I'm doing here. With respect, now you guys all one group? We said that pretty quick. Oh, I'm not with them. Oh, no way, no. Don't put me with those 2. Would one of you know someone, I mean close, that was struck, either an impact or was found to the side of a road? I know you do. It's one thing to say someone had a fender bender on the LIE, right, and they broke their arm, and they're crying, and which is understandable. And the great cops show up, and they take them by ambulance, and off they go. But there's no one found dead on the side of the road. It's just a car accident, right or wrong? Okay, what's your name? Okay. There are people that get injured in a car crash, and it's really bad. And they're rushed to Smithtown or this rush, I don't know the hospitals out here, Babylon, Bayshore, whatever you guys got places, Good Sam, wherever you're going. And they're saying, put them in the ER, this is really bad. Right, we'll try to do what we can, stitch, stitch, cut, cut, whatever they do. But then I found dead at the side of the road. So I'm very clear about my language here, young lady. Was someone found dead at the side of the road? No. I didn't think that's why I'm pausing with you. You know, someone was found on the side of the road, or they were tossed out of the vehicle near death.
No. Found on the side of the road.
Okay, stay with me. Not through a vehicular. Yeah. So they collapsed, drug overdose, someone hurt them. Okay, that's all I want. I have to interpret. My first interpretation would be to be found on the side of the road dead, or near death, dying, wounded, hurt, some variation. In other words, they can't get up and walk down the street by themselves, is my point. And it's not a court of law, right? My first reflex is this was some kind of a motorcycle flipping a guy or a car accident hitting a guy. Guy got hit and run, driver hit him, smashed him to the ground. That would be my first instincts. But you're kind of suggesting that's not what happened, correct? You're telling me someone wasn't hit and run?
Yes.
Oh, that's what I thought. So, excuse me, I'm going to lean on this for a second.
You just mentioned that.
So,
Go right ahead.
no, only kidding. So, if you're telling me, I'm a nut, right? Yeah, so I'm a little nutty. But if you're telling me someone was clipped by somebody, in the air the body goes. The driver says, I don't care. No one's going to catch me, right? And they leave someone, they're laying on the ground moaning and groaning with their legs broken or their back broken or some horrible injury. And eventually someone notices it or someone saw it or someone picked up on it. There was that terrible thing, I think it was out east, with the guy that hit those Boy Scouts or something. That better not be this. Because I almost lost my mind when I saw that story. That was a nightmare, that guy. Oh, I'm sorry to be, anyway. But if you're telling me of someone close to your heart, someone that you know,
Someone that I know.
the dating, friends, school, work, wherever, socially knew them, and they got hit, ambulance eventually gets there, I take it. You know if they've crossed?
Yes.
As a result of that?
Yes.
That's it. Now, if you said that happened when I was 10, you know, I remember my friend down the street had that happen. They died of cancer 30 years later. This is not this person. Can I ask how they're connected to you?
My brother's friend, one of my brother's best friends.
Okay, fair enough. I mean, it's an
It's very surprising to me right now.
Well, the point is, they have no one else to represent them in this room but you. Yes or no?
Yes.
And if they need their voice to be heard, they're going to trust you. They're trusting you more than they're trusting me. They're only trusting me to interpret. They're trusting you to know who I'm talking about. Does that make any sense? Yeah, yeah. I know that breast thing came up earlier before. Remember us talking about that's coming up again. No, let's be clear. I have two beautiful daughters. My wife. I understand sensitivity of breast tissue with females. I mean, I get it. And it's very sensitive for a guy to talk about it. There's several things here. Now, you both seem to know this. I take it, I mean, I'm just talking a little more logically at the moment. I think there will be women who don't think they have something wrong and they ignore stuff. And then there are people that don't go for a checkup, don't want to go for a checkup, and then they find a lump, and the doctor with them, the person that does the breast work says, how long have you had this? How long have you known you've had this? And they, blah, 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 and they say, well, you should have been here a year ago or 2 years ago. That's going on now. Or it took someone's life. Who had, you keep kind of looking at her, who had this situation?
We have a mutual best friend. Yeah,
Okay, so if you're telling me you've got a close friend that was recently diagnosed with breast cancer, stage 2, stage 3, something a little more evolved. It's not, doesn't come across as like a starter, one and you're done. It feels like there's going to be stuff here. Perhaps surgical implications are involved. Maybe they're having mastectomies now. Ongoing. I don't know you two. This is the miracle of communication. Do you understand? Now, between the two of you, did one of you, this is odd, did somebody have two people in the hospital at the same time? Or did two people die in the same hospital at different times? That's who I want. Who are those people?
My mother-in-law and my brother-in-law.
Both died in the same facility.
Correct.
At different times, though.
Correct.
Your brother-in-law, that would make it your husband's brother?
His sister's husband.
Sister's husband. And mother-in-law meaning?
His mother.
His mother. But it's not your mother-in-law.
Yes, my mother-in-law, my husband's mother.
Oh, that's what I'm asking.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, that makes it closer to you. Oh, there we go. So if you're telling me your husband's mother, with respect, what's your name?
Teresa.
Hi, Teresa. If you're and you are a young lady?
Tracy.
Tracy, you did say it. If you're telling me that your husband's mother has crossed, yes?
Yes.
And she is the same woman that died in the same place as the brother-in-law,
Yes.
right? The same facility.
Yes.
It doesn't feel like 30 years apart, though. It feels like a couple of years or a couple of months. It doesn't feel far.
Couple of years.
Yeah. And the same, and you know this to be true? Okay. For some reason, they're bringing up these stories. So they're telling me about this person who was hit by a hit-and-run driver on the side of the road and eventually died of those injuries. That knows you. Yes? I mean, that's where I'm getting it from. There may be others here. See, I can't give it to you unless they show it to me. Otherwise, I start making up crap and asking a million questions, and I might as well go home. Well, I mean, it's just absurd. It's absurd. But when you tell outsiders that you're talking to dead people, and that's the sales pitch, they expect a dialogue to take place. Well, why won't they tell you? You understand the problem with this? It's just bogus. It's straight up nonsense, right? This next part is crazy, though. Oh, man, oh, man. Sometimes people have abdominal surgeries, don't they? People can have abdominal surgeries, kidney surgeries, liver surgeries, lung surgery, right? I mean, it's part of the area. You guys know somebody that had abdominal surgery and they had to leave the intestines exposed? They had to leave it open for like a day. Yes, yes. Are you sure about this? Who had the part of their intestinal wall removed or had a resection of their lower colon? Oh my God, yes, it's here and here. That's it. All right, don't go far. No, don't go far. Don't go far.
I'm not going anywhere.
You know my friend John Edward? You guys know John? I know John 25 years. He would sometimes say this. Are you guys together? No, I don't know each other. Well, you're together now. Because the souls are trying to bring the reading to somebody. What's your name?
Kathy.
Kathy? Don't be nervous, Kathy. With respect, I'm not asking if someone had an upset stomach, if someone had cancer to the colon. Unfortunately, very common, very big. You may have reproductive issues that become cancerous, etc., etc. Yes or no?
I have that.
Okay, don't go far, don't go far. Just don't be shy away, it's fine. I just don't want people to give me information. Right?
Right.
So stop it. Well, this is extremely important. You go to see somebody, you keep your mouth shut. Make them bring it to you. I'm just giving you my advice. You do what you want when you leave me. Please, do what you want. No disrespect to anybody in this room. I just do not operate like that. When you're dealing with wounded people, they're very vulnerable, and I have an ethical, moral responsibility not to play off of that. Fair enough? Okay. Would you know the person that had an intestinal surgery? Yes, intestines. And they left their stomach open. They had to leave it exposed for like a day or two. Then, with respect, that's not for you. I'm telling you that's connected here.
Maybe that happened and I wasn't aware.
That's fine. It's very possible. I could misunderstand too. I don't think so. Right? But they're making me feel someone had an OBGYN issue. Yes or no?
Yeah.
No, you can have it with respect to language, right? You have the ovaries, you have the uterine, cervical area, etc., etc., etc. Did someone have cervical cancer? Did someone have...
Yes.
Okay, now, my wife, when she was very young in our marriage, she had a...
Ectopic pregnancy.
No. On her ovary, she had a cyst, and she had that removed, and she's cool, right? I'm not referring to, this is life-threatening, yes? And they're making me feel when they first went in, they didn't expect it to be this way, and all of a sudden, all hell broke loose, right? It either came in after a pregnancy, someone had just delivered a baby, and they opened up her tummy, and they said, here's this beautiful baby, but whoa, you are full of cancer. And it wound up taking their life. Are they still with us?
No.
Well, either they've taken their life, or did they die of something else? Is that what you're asking? That's what you're implying. Okay, I can't tell you what that is unless they show it to me because I have to move along. But if you're telling me someone crossed over who had surgery to the belly during a delivery of a child, no?
Post-delivery.
Post-delivery of a child. I'm not talking 8 years later now.
No, like within.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah. And they went back in, reopened her up, whatever they had to do, and they said, we don't like what we saw, we're going to go back and look again. And they said, this is terminal. Or close to it. Did they wind up dying of this?
No.
They wound up dying of something else, which we just acknowledged. How are they connected to you?
My mother.
Oh, your mama. Oh, I'm sorry. But you know this to be a fact, yes? The baby that she delivered,
Yes.
that survived,
Oh, boy.
yes?
Yes.
Is that you? Who was that, your brother or
My
sister?
brother, that's whose friend came to
Kim,
me.
that's it. That's the links. Okay? Thank you for listening. What time is it, Emmy?
118.
I'm over here. Let me say something to you guys. Is this okay that I'm telling you stuff? Are you learning a little bit? I hope you're learning a little bit. I said this earlier. I don't do shows. I'm not a performer. You're here for that crap. I tell my audiences, I'll just go home. I'll just go home. To turn the death of a child into a show, what's wrong with your mind? To turn it, if a child has passed, there has to be dignity and quietness, yes or no, right? Not turn the death of their child into a show where people are going, oh, that's great. I have no patience for it. I really don't. And whatever they may be doing, they may be doing. Yes? Now, are you two women together?
Yeah.
I'm just asking softly. May I ask how you're connected?
My best friend.
Okay, fair enough. Best friends are good things to have, right? There aren't many people out there with best friends, you know. They have casually good friends, but best friends is pretty good. Please listen. Don't mind my heads at all. I'm just kind of tuning in the antenna. Sometimes people can have multiple heart problems, yes? Yes or no? Would one of you know the person that had a heart condition? Now, a heart condition can be anything from a little stint to a murmur to a legitimately bad situation. But they're making me feel someone had a heart condition. And either they had open heart surgery, they had some kind of repair work done, and they were told that they were okay after this. And they weren't. And the heart condition continued. And either with respect to your beautiful mother, either her heart again became more damaged. Did your mom pass of a heart attack? What's your name, please?
Nancy.
Hi, Nan. And young lady?
Tony.
Hi, Tony. I take it you know her mother since you're best friends? Because this could have happened when she was 5 and you didn't know each other, right? Okay. So if you're telling me respectfully that your beautiful mother had a heart problem, she goes to a cardiologist, she goes to a heart person, yes? Did she have any workup done?
She did.
Don't give me much information. Simple question. Did she have medical help to her heart? Did they tell her, someone advise her, suggest to her, we got it figured out, you'll be all right?
Sort of, yeah.
Okay. Rather than saying, listen, this is done, you're done.
No.
We'll never get this heart back, you're finished. You know, that kind of a comment. They wouldn't say it quite like that, but I'm sure that's what they say. Listen, this heart is so badly damaged, you better do your will. I mean, or something. You're not going to get past a week, right? But this woman is making me feel that she had a heart problem. And if you really listen this afternoon, this was the first time I mentioned a real heart problem. First time. First one. And they turned me around to talk to you two. Right? Okay. Here's the key to this. That soul is making me feel they told them, suggested to them that it was under control. And it didn't last very long, and she wound up dying from it. Yes or no?
Yeah.
Why would they say that story to you? Right? Now, I hate to assume anything, because I don't. In my own home, I got married a long time ago. But I know the wedding dress is in a box somewhere up in the attic. I know it's up there.
Mine?
No, my wife's. Right? If your wedding dress is in my attic, we got a real problem. I'll be shot dead in the street. Right? Here's the key. As a beautiful young woman, I don't know if you're married, if you want to marry, I don't know. Obviously, your mother had, your dad, mom, and dad, I assume they were married. I don't know. Maybe they just eloped. My parents eloped. And they were married for 67 years, my mom and dad. 67 years, right? But here's the thing. They're bringing up the wedding dress. Now, I just shared with you, I haven't seen a wedding dress from my wife in over 30-something years. I haven't seen it. I know where it is, but I haven't seen it. You know, people get married. My son got married in July. You know, people get married. I'm not asking that question. When was the last time you saw your mother's wedding gown? Come on.
I haven't seen it, but I just found her wedding album.
That's it. That's all I want. Now, if you're saying I just found pictures of my mother, that's one thing. But if you're saying going through stuff, going through the drawers, going through the closets, putting crap in bags, whatever you're doing, and you discovered her wedding album, which I would take includes pictures of her wedding outfit, you have that home?
Yeah, I do.
Yeah, I know. Did you just bring it home?
Well, I've had it, but I just haven't really
Opened it. Did you look at it recently?
Yeah.
Oh, so why, young lady, would I mention a wedding dress look viewing of your mother who crossed over? Because she was standing there
What'd she say?
watching. When people think they talk, they don't talk. What she's saying is, to prove to my daughter that I'm always at her side, mention this fact. I saw her looking at my wedding album recently, which she hasn't seen in quite some time. I also was told my heart would be getting better, and it took my life. Yes or no?
Yeah, well, it's kind of a complicated
Of
thing
course.
with her health, but she would have been okay had she followed medical advice.
I'm not saying, everyone says that to me. If I only took the insulin, if I only went back to the cardiologist, if I didn't ignore the breast tumor, if I only had my seatbelt on, if I only didn't drink that much.
Yeah.
Right? You understand me? But this is,
She was supposed to be okay.
that's what I was telling you. This is how it unfolded. Not the modifications that people want to add on to soften the truth. That's a major mistake, and it's also a disrespect to the souls. People alter the truth of something because it makes a better story. Don't do that. Is your mother's wedding ring still missing? Have you been looking for it?
Yeah. I don't
Know where it is?
but I don't know that it's missing. I don't
Have you been looking for it?
I've been looking for I've just kind of been
Going through stuff?
Yeah.
I understand the obvious. You may check the jewelry.
She passed away a long time
I
ago.
understand, but why? Well, that even makes my point stronger. Why would you suddenly look at her wedding album? Now, if she just died in the summer,
I
you
lost
might.
somebody else in my life recently.
Okay, I only can give you what they send.
I don't
Now,
know why I'm looking. I don't know why.
that's a fair answer. So if with respect, if there's a husband figure or some other person that has crossed along, I hope not. But obviously there is somebody. Sometimes people will say to me, how come they're not coming through? No one can answer that. People will claim they have the answer to this, saying, well, they're not ready to speak, they're not ready to come in, they haven't died long enough, they need time to transition. It just ain't so. I read a family some time ago who lost all 4 of their children in a car crash. All. Do you guys? This is going back. I should have said a long time. You guys remember in Jersey that terrible? That's it. I read that family. And I read that family because the woman was on drugs and she went the wrong way. I read that family, right? I read that family, and what happens is that the parents had come to see me, or the mother had come to see me, and she wanted all 4 of her kids to tell me something, but only 2 did. Unless you want me to invent stuff and make up stuff, then go ahead. Then you do what you want with that stuff. I make up nothing. I think you've seen that.